Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Michael. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. We are back here doing some studying and working on our Python projects. Welcome back. I hope you're having a wonderful night. All right, let's get going here. Let's get things moving. Hello, Dastia. Welcome. How's it going? Yes, I did. I did add a Discord bot, so it does things for me now automatically. So really cool. I finally put in a little bit of a couple hours of studying up on Discord to figure out how to work it. Welcome. All right. Okay. While people get rolling in here, let's just go ahead and get started. So last time, where did we leave off? We finished the edit items. We run find edit item. Expense menu. So we do need to fix, I think, right? We go here, expenses, find edit by amount. Right, we need to fix that. So okay. So where is the where is the set creative banner, sense of dollars, not load. Where's the search? Item search menu. Here we go. So we prompt for input and the set cost. Okay, let's look here. So we have found items equal to none. If type in found items, menu, while true. Then what we'll say is hey Zimba, welcome. How you doing today? How you doing, you guys? Welcome. All right. So I guess I could just take this out. Expense number, amount. I get the set cost, right? So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna come down here and go def expense search menu, right? With prompt stir. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is gonna say I'm gonna take this. take this. Here. Like so. Put it here. So let's say if prompt is equal to that. Right? Prompt. Try to get some user input for a number. Right, great. So if, and then elif. Prompt expense search. Found item. Found expense, and then found expense here. Right. And decreated. Okay. So this is the item search menu. Expense search. We'll say while true, right? Take all this, put it inside the while loop. Now those continues will happen. Return found expense. So expense search now. So if I go back up into find edit expense, no, expense menu. So this will be not item search menu, but expense search for expense amount. Hey Tanzay, I appreciate you coming in and asking. Yeah, I'm just working on a personal independent Python project that we've been building from scratch here. So we started off with a blank file, and little by little we've been building up over the past few weeks. So it's called the Small Business Manager. It just takes in integers, or sorry, it takes in items, objects that like a small business would have for an inventory. Um, and then we can convert those items into for sale items, and then convert those items into sold items, updating parameters each time. We then can take in expenses, and then also cross-reference those expenses against the sales to generate revenue reports and things like that. So it's kind of like a small business manager tool here, which will be really cool. So search, expense search. So now what happens if I go here and go yes, expenses, find edit expense by amount. One. So print expense not to do 994. Here. if the expense given is not in a type dict, I raised this value. Hey Naman, how's it going? Wing Hong, welcome in. How you doing? Okay, so we have expense search, expense number, expense amount, item search menu. So we're gonna take a prompt, try to get some user input. Expense number. So this needs to be the input here for prompt, right? Like so. And the amount, we get this except cost. Found expense. So in here, found expense equals this expense search. This returns an empty list. If found expense, do this. So we didn't even get past this though. We got hit here. Why? So I go here, expense menu, expenses, find edit expense by let's go by number, right? So number still has that one associated with it, so hold on. If I go by number, which is option 3, here, expense search for expense and number. Okay, so yes. Ooh, yes. Expenses, find edit by number. 1. Okay, that works fine. We just need to add in that prompt for in the item search menu, we say do this while true, get user input, print this. So I'm going to copy this over. Come down here. Print this above the user input. Say if user input is equal to quote Q, run main, and here we're going to go expense menu, right? Like so. Nice. Now we'll need this for here as well. If I go back here, go run this again. Yes, expenses, find edit by number. If we press Q, on line 913. Oh, okay. If I press Q here. Okay, so we can't do the int here. Right, then we'll have to say here go user input equals to int on user input, right? Now that'll be able to do it. So yeah, yes, expenses, find edit by number. If I press Q here, we go back to expense menu. So we need to, I just go back to main menu, but main menu must have a clear associated with it. Expense menu doesn't. So I have to go clear terminal and go expense menu, like so. Yes, expenses, find edit by number. I press Q. Okay, we go back. Now we could go find edit by number. Say number one. We still pull up the number one expense as in here, right? Test, description, petty cash. Perfect. SS Low, birthday lunch. That's really cool. I wanted to learn Python as well, but I find that coming with an engaging project to work with is hard for me. Um, I would just, if I had any, advice, take this with a grain of salt. Like I am a beginner myself, but I have been, doing this consistently for about 6, 7 months now, and been able to hold myself accountable that way. I just found stuff that, I personally would. Has there been any point in your life at any time or out throughout your day where you said, "Man, this is really boring. I'm tired of doing this over and over again. I wish I had a computer that could do that for me." Like from anything from like let's say you have to order dog food over and over again every month. Well, try to write a script that automatically links up to your whatever account and purchases the dog food for you like on a certain day of the month, right? Or let's say just, and it doesn't have to be like a life-changing reinventing the wheel project. The project's whole 100% purpose should just be to improve your learning, right? So if you're trying to shoot for the stars with a project that's going to be the next Facebook, well, you're probably just never going to dive in. And so because really, are you that passionate about making the next Facebook? No, you're passionate about doing small things right now that would help level up your abilities on a small scale. So yeah, that's kind of, hey David, how's it going? Welcome. It's awesome to hear from you guys. What are you guys working on? If you guys are in school, let me know. If you guys are CS majors, or um, let me know what you guys are working on, what classes you're taking. You guys might be back in school. If you guys are just working professionals, let me know what you guys do for work. I find that really interesting. I work as a chemist, and so I would love to know. Okay, so now if we go back to here and go edit by, if I say amount, right, and I give $45.31. Okay, it pulled up those two like normal that we should, and it pulls up the one. Okay, perfect. So then um mm, mm, mm. So in my set cost, am I getting a quit option there? I don't think so. So let's go here, set cost. Press Q to go back to quit. To quit. So we'll say if cost equals to quote no, so actually we already have there's a cost, so if there's a cost, if cost equals to quote Q, right, we're gonna call main menu here. So now if we run this 7 find edit, or we go start over, yes, expenses, find edit by amount. Now I get this. If I press Q, we go back to main menu here, expenses, um, find edit expense, amount. I can still look up 4531 and get those two options. And I press 1, I get those two up like that. Now, cool. I know GPU scalpers use scripts to order stuff online. Oh, awesome. Can probably do it for concert tickets too. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for my current job. I've delved into automating some data entry tasks, but I haven't used Python. For those projects, I use VBA code editor and Excel. Yeah, so maybe try to. I know that Excel also has an ability to like interwork with Python. So, have you taken any courses or read any books on Python? If not, I have a Discord linked below where I provide all of the resources I've learned currently up to this point, and a lot of other people have provided their own resources too. So if you're interested in following like a roadmap of what I did up to this point, then feel free to join the Discord down below for free. No worries. Okay, so here we'll go here, press Q to quit. If item name is equal to quote Q, we're going to call main menu here. And then we'll say for set expense number, no. Set item number, no, not that one either. For set size, the only thing though, so if we run this now, go yes, go inventory, add item, now we get test, press Q to quit, like that too, for every single one of them. Ooh. So I'm going to take it out of the set cost, I guess, actually. So maybe I should just take it out of this, right, if it's not. Yes, expenses, find edit, number 1, perfect, still working appropriately. The amount works good. Okay, so now we'll have to say elif prompt is equal to quote expense expense date, right? Hold on, I think we can refactor this one down. Let's say this. Or prompt equal expense date. We have found expenses, item search cost for the cost type equals to if prompt equal to expense amount, do this item search. Search condition equals this. Else search condition equals to set date created for, right, like that. And then we'll make the amount, this is going to be the search condition. So this is going to get a set date created. Right, we're going to get a date and return that in string format. So this is going to return a string here. If this, so this is going to say, we'll set this will be attribute, like so. We'll f string that. If it's this, we'll set attribute equal to amount in a string, and then else this set attribute here equal to string for, this will be date, right, the expense date. Date, yep. And then, perfect, so then we can call return found expenses. So what this is going to do now is, rather than just having this recreating kind of a similar function for another elif prompt for, you know, expense amount, now in addition for the expense date, what I did was I just refactored this a little bit to be more dynamic for either accepting a prompt of expense amount or a prompt of expense date. You know, having a list of found expenses that are blank. If the prompt is equal to the expense amount, right, we're going to have our search condition variable equal to the set cost function, which, you know, just gets a cost and returns that back to us in a string format, or not a string, an integer. That gets placed here, and we set this, the attribute, to amount, which gets filled in here dynamically for the search through our for a hash search through this, basically. Now we're not doing we can't access this like in constant time through a hash, because the key value is the expense number, but the actual the value of the key is the dictionary of the expense. So we have to, you know, use the items to separate the expense number from the expense, right? The key from the value. Then we have the search here for that attribute, which gets filled in from these here, and then that gets returned, even if it's none. So we handle the none condition inside of our function here. So we say, if found expenses, do all this, right? Else else, right, we'll say we're going to clear the terminal here. And then print user input is equal to user input is equal to this. Which would be input here, quote, press any key. We'll say, yeah, press any key to quit, to quit, I guess, yeah. So rather than actually that, we'll just leave this and say print here like this, no expenses found, press right, press any key to continue. User input, after we get user input, just on waiting for the user to move on, and then we'll just go ahead and call expenses menu here, right? So now let's give this a go. Yes, expenses. So we first need to do the find edit, make sure this is working by, so we combine the date and the amount now. So let's go amount. Amount is, so here we go, would be 4531. Pulled up those two expenses and we select one, we get it and go back to the menu. Perfect. If we go back to find edit and we go by date. Okay. Yeah, that's right. We need to change this function to the expense search for the expense date. Main menu has a clear in it. Okay, yes, expenses, find edit by date. Use today's date. Expense, found expense. Okay, so if found expenses, using today's date, which is the 15th. And 944. It's calling this function, but also on 9400. Here in our edit expense. Temp expense. Here. Display formatted. Because there was none found. So why is it getting why is it getting to the edit expense stage? It shouldn't be, right? It shouldn't be getting to here. If found expense. Sorry, we got some chats here. Hey, LS Dominguez, welcome in. How you doing? What's going on? How's that Python crash course been? Tenze says, yeah, I have a basic knowledge of Python, but I haven't done anything at scale. I took Intro to CS class in college where they taught Python, but I've kind of forgot a lot of that. Yeah, I highly recommend hopping on the CS50P and doing the Python crash course. Snow, hi, how long have you been programming or coding for? About 6, 7 months now. Welcome in. Why is coding? Are you using curses? What do you mean curses? Uh, Wakar says, thinking of taking CS50, should I start with CS50P or CS50X in your opinion? If you haven't had any introduction to programming, I think you might have a better time starting off with CS50P and pairing it with Python Crash Course. So I show this every stream. Sorry guys, but you guys know the drill. Ooh. So Python Crash Course is a great book that you should pair um, with CS50P. CS50P, if you're a raw beginner, it is a great course for getting you to showing you what Python has to offer. But in my opinion, there is a bit of a disconnect with kind of assuming that you know what escape characters are and what they truly mean, or what strings actually are, what formatting those strings actually are, and like so it really tries to it goes pretty quickly along those beginner concepts. And so I feel like there are some gaps if you are a true beginner, like I was about 6, 7 months ago. When I was taking it, I was just kind of like, man, is this really for me? Because this is a beginner course, but yet I'm just not really grasping this. And so I picked up Python Crash Course, and this book just, yes, it was repetitive to go over those examples again that was taught in CS50P, but because I did that, I exponentially set my, well, I don't know if exponentially is the word, I don't have any statistical data to prove that, but I drastically set myself up for more success and propelled myself further for more success by having an even stronger foundation, the basics. Had I just moved on from CS50P, jumped into my projects and into DSA, I don't think I would be where I'm at now, right? I think we would be trying to fill in these gaps with with loose soil, and we would be sinking down in, and we'd be struggling and really having a hard time here. But because I took the extra month it took to get through this book, every example live on the stream, I read this book live on stream. um, we went through every example, and I'm also going back through on my channel and posting the solutions to the in-text problems. So go reference those if you're wanting some, beginner, friendly rundowns of those problems. So this just really helped to solidify those gaps and then set me up for success to actually start building my own projects. It has some projects examples in the back, but I decided to bypass those because I was kind of as I said, I did CS50P already, now this, so I was kind of already, ready to kind of get moving. But I highly suggest, I have a PDF of this book for free linked in my Discord below. I also have in that same section of the Discord my personal notes that I wrote while I was taking this. And I also have, links to the playlist on my YouTube where I go over the Python crash course information. But if you're also interested in taking CS50X, for those that are new, I'm taking that live on my channel right now. So we are currently on week 2. I just haven't gotten the time to get around to solving the week 2 problem set yet, but I think tomorrow or Saturday, I think probably tomorrow, because usually on Saturday or Sundays we like to watch the lecture. So probably tomorrow we'll take a stab at the week 2 problem set, and get a majority of it completed, and then maybe finish it up on Friday. And then usually on Saturdays or Sundays, we continue and watch the next week's lecture. So currently we're on week 2, and then we're going to be on week 3 soon. So if you're wanting to follow along with me as I do that whole course live on stream, you can get credit for it yourself. Um, like I said, I stream the lectures live. I record those, chop them up, and post a condensed version to my channel. And then I also, stream me solving the problem sets. And in my Discord, I have a thread created for all of my weekly entries where I post all of my updates and stuff. So in the Discord and everything. You can start with YouTube videos, search for the basic concepts and topics. Surely they will apply for any class you take. Yeah, that sounds like a good advice. Hey Tim, how's it going? Yeah, I am gonna publish this when we finish. Hopefully. Only 63 subs until 1,000. Hurrah, hurrah. It's just so unbelievable. It doesn't even feel real. It doesn't even feel real. You guys are awesome. Okay, so for some reason, if found expense. Oh, because hold on. So this says by amount, by date. So here is by date. So this returns the found expense and then tries to do this. So, I mean, we could also have this statement here as well be if found expense, right? If not found expense, take this. Okay, like that. So now if we go in here, yes, expenses, find edit by amount. Okay, we can say 1, no expense found, press any key to continue. Um, so let me take this rather. So I made some changes to that. Here, yes. Expenses, add expense. Oh no. Expenses, find edit by amount by 1. No expenses found. Press any key to continue. Okay, and then so what if we don't clear here? What if we rather clear here? Right, what if we clear there? Like so, and run this. Yes, expenses, find edit amount. Expense amount, 1. No expenses found. Please press any key to continue. No expenses found. So we'll do another backslash in here. With amount equal quote 1 or here. they press 1, we do an expense search for the amount. So it's found expense. Here, like that. If found expense, else no expense is found. No, because the item search is, no, we can't access that. Because we're calling it in here. It's in here, and we're not returning it, though. So we'd have to put the no expense found, wrap it inside this function here. Basically, to get that effect. So go yes, expenses, find edit amount 1, no expenses found, press any key to continue, then it'll clear back. Find edit by date, use today's date. Yes, no expenses found. Right. Press any key to continue. Yes, expenses, find edit, date, use today's date, yes, no expenses found, press any key, okay, boom. Find edit expense by date, use today's date, no, enter date, we'll do yesterday, because we did make expenses yesterday, 01/14, fingers crossed. Oh, no! So it says value error. Not of type dict. So we're trying to do an edit expense on a bunch of expenses, but we need to do this. Yeah, so we have to say if found expense we're going to clear the terminal. If we find an expense, we're going to clear the terminal. We don't need to do any conversion to this. We just need to do this part here. Let's take this whole thing here, starting from below the clear terminal here, paste, else do this. Perfect. So now we'll say, instead of expense date, with date this will be not found expense into dollars. This will be found expense key or index 0, right, to access the first one found, out of all the options, and then this will be the key date to access the date value of that individual dictionary. Please select an expense. Perfect. Found with date, expense date, expense number. So rather than showing the date or the number here, the number is kind of irrelevant in this context, because before we were showing the amount and the date. We want to keep that to showing the date and the amount. So this would be, I mean, we already know the date though, so maybe I'll keep the number, and then here, because it's already referencing the date up front for a generic, all of these expenses were found to have this date. But so here we'll say, rather than using the date again and being repetitive, we'll instead provide them the amount here to cross-reference on that date provided, and then cross-reference that to the expense number within the database, so that the user has that information. And so then they select it here, and I think we're good to go. So yes, expenses, find edit expense by date, use today's date, yes, none found, perfect. Find edit expense, use today's date, no, 2025-01-14, one expense found with 2025-01-14, please select an expense. Okay, so we need to update this amount though as well. So in the previous function, we were doing this right here. So this is what we'll copy over this function as well. Right, and then paste it here. What happened? Okay, like that. And then we'll say instead of printing amount here, we have to convert every single one. So we'll do this. Since $2 here, on that entire thing, get rid of this. Right, and then we also have to call an int conversion. It already has the amount, it's already an int. Okay, let's see that one. Yes. Expenses, find edit date, no, 2024 dash 01-14. No expenses found. Oh, it's 2024, right? Okay, so we need find edit by date, no on today's date, 2025-01-14. Okay, cool. Now that's doing that appropriate conversion there, and we just need to put a $sign in front of it, like so. So now what happens if we go like this? Let's take this expense here. Let's duplicate it down. 4, 5, 6. We need a couple of those guys there. So now we have 3 duplicated expenses. Now I am going to change the amounts here to all different amounts. 10 to $25.41. And then we'll change this guy to $500.65. Right, and then that's fine. And then I'll make all these ones with different days, the 1013, right? So we can reference that. Okay, cool. So if I run this here, hold on, I'll read comments in just a second. I was in a flow here. Sorry, guys. All right, expenses, find, edit, amount. If we press an amount that doesn't exist, right? Like 1, no expense found. Press any key to continue, right? The expense amount 1 does not exist anywhere, right? If I go find, edit expense by amount, if I press the amount of 1013, it will bring up these 3 expenses, 10.13. Now remember, the user is going to enter it in US dollars with a decimal in or with a whole dollar. So they're not going to enter it in whole cents like we're saving the data into. Boom, that brings up those 3 expenses. Perfect. Expense number 1, 2, and 3 that was bought on this date, and this date. Woo! Okay, with, right, 3 expenses found with this amount. Please select an expense. All right, so then you can select 1 here, and you get access to that expense. And then you can make updates to all of the attributes. And so now we'll go view with 3. Oh, not view, sorry. Did not mean to press view. We haven't set up that one yet. 3 here, find, edit. If we press date, right? And we use today's date, yes, we don't get anything. So we go back to view, edit. If we go date, no 2025-01-14, we will get 3 through 6, right? Expense number 3. Okay, so it's not updating for that expense number. We need to do the expense. What? So why would this give me the date appropriately, and this give me the number and the one above it, and then this not? Why are we getting duplicate numbers here? It's pulling just the first one found. Right, it's supposed to be 3, 4, 5, and 6. Oh, because all of these have number. Okay, that's why. Remember, we copied them over. So this has number 1, 2, 3, 4. When we make it, it auto updates these. 5 and 6. That's why. It was correct. Okay. So go back here. Yes. Edit. Or sorry, expenses 3. Find, edit by date. No. 2025 dash 01 dash 14. Boom. Got them all. Yep. Okay, so, oh, and that was not $10, that was 10 cents, right? Perfect. Okay. And so now we can say 4 here to get access to that 4th one, and we get access to it, and we can make updates to everything. Awesome. So we go back to main menu, expenses. Now really quickly, find, edit by number, right? If I press in, so if I gave no input there, 93. $933 expense region here, and continue. Cannot access local variable user input where it's not associated with a value. Unbound local. Hmm. Christian Padleski, how are you learning Python? Yeah, I've just been teaching myself through various resources online. Hey, Gina, welcome. How's it going? I started with Harvard CS50P, then moved on to Python Crash Course, then started just making my own projects, and we've been reading another book on the stream called Data Structures and Algorithms Live. Um, that was on a problem I was looking up earlier, but we're on page we're on in trees right now, so we're on page like 325 or something like that. So we've been reading this entire book live on stream and really learning from it. So this is Data Structures and Algorithms in Python. Yeah, we're right here. Yeah, that's kind of really it, I guess. Yeah, I need to split up these into files for sure. Do y'all think I could get all the basics down, starting code out with a mobile? What do y'all think? With a mobile, are you talking about like with a phone? Coding with the phone? What do you mean by with a mobile or coding mobile apps or? So, what does this mean? Let's see here. The error occurs because a variable user input is referenced in the print statement but has not been assigned to a value within the scope of the function or before it is accessed. Okay, so we have to get the user input first, probably would be better idea. Have it be defined as an empty string. Try so actually I'll bring this out of the try block. User input, try to convert int user input is equal to int user input here, and then throw that value there if you can't. So we can save it here. So yes, expenses, find edit by number. If I just give a blank enter, perfect. Just a blank string, not convertible to type int. Number 1, okay, perfect. 7. Now if we go find edit number, if I give -1, not found. If I give ABC, right, error, not convertible to type int. If I were to give, 1 or T, not convertible to type int, 1. So what do we just do? We couldn't save a blank. Okay, we couldn't just enter out. That's why. Okay. Okay, cool. Now, obviously, there's some little bugs and features here and there that we've got to keep chipping away at, but that kind of is the main. I mean, besides the view, right? We have an inventory menu, right? Where you can add items, you can find and edit items. The view is kind of trash on this right now, but we can fix that later. We have a transactions menu, which you can search and then transact that item as for sale or sold, right? So we'll do that here. I'll just show you. Item number 1 not found. We not have any items in here. Yeah, we don't have any items in the database, so there's none. Right, and now we have an expenses menu where we can add and edit and like search for them as well. So we just need a view here, and then we can start generating like reports really. And then in the settings as well, we need to allow the user to add an expense category and expense method into their setting, the expense settings menu, right? So they can add, like, these categories can be hard coded for these users, right? Because we don't know what their expense categories may be. Like they have transportation or food and drink, whatever for their business. So they can go into the settings and pre-program those and allot those in, and so that they're like they have to be continually chosen. You know, so what it'll say is like, okay, it'll reference the set of pre of hard coded by the user. Um, or dynamically enforced expense categories and methods. So then when they go try to add them, it'll say, okay, is this one you're adding in there? No, it's not. Okay, this category does not exist. Or if you want this category to exist, you need to go into the settings and add it. Um, Maybe we'll have the option right then and there to be able to, like, category does not exist in the set of categories. Would you like to add this category in? And then right then and there, they could just also populate the category, like within live of adding the expense. If it's a new category that's not that they so they don't have to like restart over. So that's a good idea too. Same with the method, right? So the method would be like credit card or bank account, debit card, whatever information the business wants to track. Like that would be what they would use. But we need to work on the settings menu a little bit. Okay, cool. So we've got like a pretty good working program here. Let me go ahead and do a quick little demonstration for those that are new here. So I'll quickly just go ahead and delete the entire JSON file. I'll just go ahead and actually delete the entire JSON file, and I'll delete the entire items CSV file. How can I add my gambling expenses? Would that be under miscellaneous? Yeah, you'd have to create a category like gambling and then categorize that under that one. Yeah, that's funny. Every edge case can be funny. Okay. All right, cool. So this is what's going on live in the program. Okay, so when I watch right here on the left side of my screen, as you can see, there is no um, JSON file and there is no CSV file where our expenses and items are being saved. If I go ahead and run the program, right, would you like to open the Small Business Manager 1.0 by Michael Deming? Yes, and watch on the left side of my screen here. Boom, there they are. So these just got populated now and are empty. Notice how the expenses, the item CSV has a header row that I had set up here as well. So I wrote this one before I learned about JSON more in depth and wrote this one. So we might come back and convert the CSV into a JSON format later. But okay, so from here, right, we can, I'll bring up the items here. We can go to the inventory menu by pressing 1. We can add an item by pressing 1 here. We can give it a test name. Cost would be 10. Item size, let's say that this is a, like if I say ABC here, right, available sizes are extra small through extra large, so it'd have to be, large. Use today's date, yes. And then quantity, let's say I have one of these, right? Now watch what happens on the left side of my screen here. Boom, that item just gets populated in, all of that information. Now I will go ahead and let's add in a couple more items. So we'll say this was a, t-shirt. Cost of this was $15. Size, medium. Today's date, yes. Quantity, let's say we actually bought 3 of these. Boom, there they are. Let's go ahead and add one more item. Item name. Let's say this was a dress. What cost was, let's say this cost 45 bucks. Item size was a small, right? Use today's date? No. Let's say we bought this 2025 on the new year, 0101, right? Quantity 1. Boom. All right. That got populated there for all that info. Now we can find and edit individual items by pressing 2 in the inventory manager. We can search by item number here. Item number 1, boom. Item number 1 gets brought up. As you can see, test name, everything is the same. We can edit these individual parameters. Oh, sorry. This wasn't broken before, so this, I did something to break this. I did something to break this. Hold on. Line 173. Here, set name requires a prompt, right? Now, a prompt is going to be update item name, right? Like that. Cool. So now we'll go back. Yes. Inventory, find edit, and we'll pull up item number item number 1, right? That gets pulled up. Now if I go find edit by item name, I can do dummy, right? Item number name dummy not found. Press Q to go back. Name, let's say dress. Cool. One item dress found. Please select item. Dress, item number 5. So we'll select it, and there it is. Back, right? Cool. We can go back to main menu here. We can go transactions, item search. We'll search by number here. If I say a number that doesn't exist of 0, doesn't exist, or ABC, item number ABC not convertible to type in. So if I say 0, error item number 0 not found, right? So pretty cool. So we'll say, how about item number 1? Cool. So item number 1 is selected, right? This has all of its attributes for item number 1. We can convert this to a for sale or to sold. So let's convert this as to for sale. We listed it. I used today's date. Yes, we listed it today. Listing price, we bought it for 10. Let's say we listed it for 20. Cool. And as you can see, that got populated there, which is really cool. But the date listed did not populate. Why? Item search. Item number 2. For sale. Yes. 10. Okay, so the for sale is not setting the date listed, right? So that's not working right here. So item search, item number 3. Convert to sold. Yes. 10. Delivery. And that did not populate the date sold either. Here. Okay, so we got something going on there. So when we go ahead and do transact item, set cost, listing price, date created. So if they also press 2, set date created, So let me go like this. Let me say, why do I have this print call here? Transactions, item search number 4. Item number 4 selected. Transact item 4 sale. Oh, just to get that spacing. So what if I say rather clear terminal we'll go print transact item 4 sale, right? There's the \n here. So I want to also print date listed for sale. I want to see if that prints, what it prints. Yes, expenses, transactions, item search, number 4, list item for sale, transact item as for sale, use today's date. Yes, none. That's why. So set date created is not working. Why? If they say yes, return none. The class will set the date current if they receive to none. Oh, because by default I was calling if it was none, then it gets set to here by date time.date today and a stir. So we'll do that too. We'll do datetime dot datetime dot date dot today. Dot date dot today, like so, and then we'll stir this. Because we aren't recreating an instance of the object. So now if I go run here, yes, transactions, item search, number 4, transact is for sale, use today's date, yes, boom, now we're getting the date. And now we'll say listing price, 45 bucks. Now if we go here and go look at item number 4, boom, now it has that date there, sweet. Now if we go item search, item number 4, if we say mark as for sale again, right, we'll get an error saying it's already listed for sale because it has a date listed. If we go mark as sold, use today's date, yes, sold price, let's say we sold it for 45, right? Transportation method here, standard shipping price, or shipping charge, like right, $5, boom, and that got updated there. Woo, nice. All right, cool. Thank you guys so much for joining me. For those that are new, let me know or for those that are just here, let me know what you guys are working on. I'm kind of just been rambling on here, working on this myself, but what are you guys working on? You guys just watching me do this project? Are you guys working on your own projects? Are you guys doing homework? Let me know what you guys got going on. I'm really interested in that. All right, cool. So now what? Yes. Um, right, so now we can successfully transact those items. Should I make the transactions menu be a part of the inventory manager? Um, or should I make the transactions menu like the sales menu and make it, I don't know, we'll see. Okay. Sweet. That was a good chunk of work done on this. Really cool. Awesome. Sweet. All right, let's go ahead and shift our focus here for a little bit onto some Leet code. Okay. All those are mediums. Mediums. Stack. Okay. So this one says we're going to use a stack. So right off the bat, um, this problem though, if I'm going to be honest, we saw a similar problem in our data structures and algorithms book in Python. We saw a similar problem in this book already. So let's go ahead and give it a try here. So I do remember a little bit from that example that was given. So you're given a string S consisting of the following characters: left parenthesis, right parenthesis, left brace, right brace, left bracket, right bracket. The input string S is valid if and only if every open bracket is closed by the same type of closed bracket. Open brackets are closed in the correct order. Every bracket closes a corresponding open bracket of the same type. Return true if the string is a valid string and false otherwise. Okay, so for this one, for what I remember, is that we have to have a lefts, which a variable which is going to equal a string to account for all of the left side values. I think so, right? Then we're also going to have a rights, which is equal to quote, right? In the same, the key is though, is that these have to be in the same indexing spaces, right? For the corresponding partner. Now we'll say, we need to loop through the string and access every value, every character in the string and determine it. And we also, what we need here though as well, is we need a stack, right, which is equal to an empty array. So for every character, for every char in our string S, if char in lefts, right, we're going to stack dot append the char, right? So if the char, as we're going through our string S, let's say our string S is in some example right? Y equals to mx plus b, right? So this is going to go over each character. Sorry, yawning here. Long day at work. It's going to go over each character. It's going to analyze if this character is in the lefts. If it is, we're going to push it onto our stack. So this will get pushed onto our stack, right? Cool. Now, if so elif the char in the rights group, right? If it's in the rights group, what do we need to do with it? We need to evaluate if it's in the rights group. So if it's in the rights group, we need to Gotenks, what's a project you've recently completed with what you know so far? I would check out the task tracker application. I have a demo video live on my channel. I also have that code completely open source live on my GitHub. You can go read it line by line and see how it works for yourself. So the task tracker application is a pretty good example of something I've written recently. Okay. Or like, sorry, be like this. Right. So, if the char is in the rights, we need to do a comparison, right? Because the first parenthesis closed will be the last parenthesis that was opened. So if the char is in the rights, we're going to say for I in the range length of lefts, if lefts at index I is equal to so up here we're going to have last left is going to equal to the stack dot pop, right? If the left at index I is equal to the last left and right at index I is equal to the char that we're currently on, because we're currently evaluating the right char, right? If that's the case, we'll say valid string is equal to true. And then we will have to So if it is equal, can we just pass and not do anything? Right? Right, because if we pass and not do anything, and then just check the length of the stack, right? Because if you have an element that goes into the stack, which is the lefts, it will get popped out. So the length of the stack, if it's 0, will determine if this was successful or not. If the stack is empty, length, return, length, if not this, return length stack equals 0. The stack is empty, you're on a closed bracket. There was no open bracket, which means that the pop value is blank and will not equal this, will not be true, so you'll return false here. So I think that that is covered, right? If you have if you have no open bracket but you have a closed bracket, right, you'll pop off that, you'll try to do this pop, but there is no element. What happens if you pop on a empty array? If you attempt to pop on an empty array or list depending on the behavior depends, Python calling pop raises an index error with pop from empty list. So this will raise an error if you try to pop on an empty list. So you have to say if the stack is empty at this point, if there's values in the stack, go ahead and do them. Else return false. If not stack, return false. Else go ahead and just do this. And we'll delete this. Right, so if you have an empty stack, you'll return false, right? And then if you, that means that you, if we'll try to do, then, right, you can actually do this. Okay, I think that this works. So what happens if there is no rights though? So you just get this. If there is no stack, you return false. You pop last. This fails. Let's run it. Ah, shoot. I think it has to do with our conditionals in here. If stacks list. Pass. If staff, you just keep going, right? You can just keep removing stuff off. You don't need to if it is successful. Else, return false. Dang it. So for every char in S, if the char is in the lefts, we're going to append the char to the stack. Push it onto the stack. L if the char is in the rights, if not stack, return false, right? Then pop off else last left, stack dot pop for I in the range of length of lefts. If the lefts so instead of doing so we need to have the flag happen. The flag has to be created at every instance of the loop of here. So else flag is equal to true. So if there's no stack, else there is a stack, we're going to return a status on the stack. Return length of the stack 0 here. If char is not in right, just return true. character knows. Like that. Oh. Come on, brutal. I thought I had this. For every character, this is right. If the char is in the right and the stack is empty, we're going to return false. Else, we set a flag equal to false, pop off the last for I in the range length of lefts. If the lefts at index I is equal to last left and rights at index I is equal to char, set the flag to true. Like that. The for loop. So return flag gets returned. Oh! Woo! There we go. Nice. Okay, so I just had to get my return statements in the right order. So we have an overarching flag that gets set for every character iteration over the rights. If we continually override that up to the last iteration of the flag true, we return the flag at the end of this for loop. Else, we would return length of stack equal 0 at the end of this loop, considering that if there is no stack, right, then we've managed to pop all the values off and pair them. It was just my return statements. Everything in my code was right. It's just I just had to figure out the order of my returns. Like I had them indented a little bit incorrectly. Return flag looks slightly odd. So I got a wrong answer here. Why would they give you... Why would they give you a bunch of... Your output true, expected output false. So this came by a right that didn't have a paired left. Spot, and then popped back out, compared, good. Boom, in, got that, compared, that. If it's in rights, like that. If it's in right and our stack is empty, if it's in right and our stack is empty, which would be at this point, right? Our stack is empty, and this is in right, so this is not being read appropriately. So what if I say length of stack equals 0, return false? I left the chars in rights. That passes still. So I just moved this back out one step. This sets flag to true. So if the char is in the rights, if the length of stack is equal to 0, return false. If length of stack is equal to 0, return false. Right away here. Fail. Dang it. Why is it not hitting this condition? I thought it would hit this. If the char is in the rights and the stack is empty, return false. So it seeks in, it gets this one into the stack, pops it, compares it to this one, moves on. Does the same thing here. So I'll change this back to my if not stacks. So else we set a flag to false. We pop off a value out of the stack. If flag gets set true. So does flag need to get set on a more local scope so that it gets reset to false for every time we encounter a right? But now we get your return false is here. So it wouldn't, that doesn't solve it. So we have it outside. On each recursion, flag gets overrode here. Dang it, I thought that was it. I can't access flag inside of here. Do you need to return? Should be returning. So then we'll have to, so you need to return then at the end of here. Return flag. So if this is on the if elif chain, so we set the flag to true. If we find something. So if we successfully find a match, what do we want to do? I'm going to say match set to true. And then after we iterate through all of the characters, we want to return either this or at the end of the rights here. But flag is not defined here. Oh. So we are setting the flag to true once we find a single pair but I don't really want to do anything if this is true. I just want to move on. Dang it. Why can't I figure this out? If a flag, go false upward. If there is no stack, return false. What if I define flag out here? Assign it to true on each iteration. Ugh. So if I put this here, that's just going to return after one character. That's not what we want. Right? It's going to do an evaluation and return. Else do this, this finishes, comes back out, and returns this. And you can't. Yeah. So if we found a valid pair, if you find a valid pair, what do we want to say? Like, okay, I found a valid pair, cool. Move on. Do you want me to say if not here? I mean, or you could just move on and pass over. Start with flag equals false. Pass over. Move. Go. No one cares. Right. So this, if that statement's not met, we can move this out here. So this is going to return after one pass over, though. We don't want to return after one pass over. I want to just... I need to return at the very end. At the very... No, but if the char is in the right and it's not found in the left, return false here. If char is in the left, okay, and there is no char in the stack, return false. If that, then pass. Why do I set a flag here? On the singular level. So flag equals false on the singular scope. Pass over. Boom, it's gonna go to the next character. So if it is valid, we'll pass over and do nothing and leave the flag as is. Else, we'll set the flag as false, right? And so we only care about the last pass of where the flag is. So how can I pass my flag back to the very start? That's the question, is how can I like return flag here? How can I put my... why am I not getting this? So we set the flag to false. If we don't evaluate to true there. Okay, so if I return length of stack equals 0 at the end of this, meaning that it's true at the end of this statement. If flag Oh, I'm so dumb. Why am I doing flag? Do I not just return false here? Oh my gosh. Am I really this dumb? Right? No, I guess I am just dumb. Gosh, man. I was so close and now I'm just getting worse. Flag equals to true and you move on. You return false. Returning stack like S for him. So we return the flag if you can't. After we evaluate every character, oh my gosh. So you say but I can't access flag out here, I don't think. It's not defined at this level. You can't even return flag here though because oh my gosh, man. It's so frustrating. So what from here? You set the flag to true if you evaluate the conditions to true. Else you return the flag, which is false. So why does this not pass? Your output false. When it should be true. It sets flags to true. And continues to the next. This is being hit here. Why is this being hit for this input? Oh. We're so close. If the flag is equal to true, I don't know, dude. I really don't. Like, flag. So this failed because of this flag here. So that would pop. But it would try to evaluate that. My friend, I don't think you realize that I cannot access the flag out here, outside of my loops. I can't say if flag right here because flag is all the way here locally. Why is this returning false? This should be equal. Why was it not working right here? Like, why was it not saying else return false? Like, I don't get how is this any different than saying else return false? Right? How is this any different? Right? If this doesn't evaluate to true, you return false. Why do you have to wait until it's all done? Once you find one condition that's not met, you return false. Oh, it's iterating over the left and right, so it's checking. Oh, it's evaluating each. Oh, so it's evaluating 3 conditions across each index. So you're getting. So you're evaluating 3 conditions across 3 indexes for a total of 9 conditional checks. How is that very efficient? That's what I wasn't getting is that it's evaluating each index check condition on each Okay, so you do an evaluation of each bracket position in these strings relative to the char and the popped value. And so once you evaluate and figure out, okay, it was a bracket this time around, so it stopped on the second recursive step or whatever, or iterative step at this point. Okay. I get that. Okay. Oh, shoot. I feel so dumb. Like I feel like that should have been way easier. Like I had like 95% of the solution for the past 30 minutes. Oh my goodness. I feel defeated. Like I literally just could not figure out where to put a return statement. Are you serious? Oh my gosh. Frustrating stuff. It's frustrating sometimes. Like I had 95% of the problem, but I sat here for the past half hour not figuring out, not understanding where to put a return statement. Uh, that's disappointing. That's really disappointing. It's okay though. It's okay. Bounce back. Bounce back. uh, oh, because flag is here, so you can access it here rather than back here. Yeah. Winglong, I sat on the same problem for 2 days. Yeah, well, maybe yeah, cup ain't half empty, I guess. So, it could be worse, that's for sure. Okay, cool. There's that one. All right. You want me to watch this?
Hey everyone, welcome back and let's write some more neat code today. Today let's solve an easy problem, valid parentheses. This is such a common interview question. I think I've been asked this times like in phone interviews and online assessments and stuff, so definitely a good problem to understand. We're given a string S containing only these 6 characters. They're basically parentheses type characters, right? Brackets, parentheses, closing, and there's 3 pairs, so there's an opening one and then there's a closing one, and that's true for each of the 3 types, right? Open, open, and close. And our only goal is to determine if the input string is valid or not, and it's valid if the open brackets are always closed by the same type of bracket, and if the brackets are closed in the correct order. So if that's true, then it's valid and we can return true. If it's not, then we can return false. So first example, now is this valid? Well, we start with an opening parenthesis, and then we close it with a closing parenthesis. So it happened in the correct order, right? This was closed in the correct order. Every open has a matching close, so this is valid, so we can return true. Obviously, if the order was opposite, like this, it would not. We would have to return false because, first of all, this opening example, we see the bracket, but we have to along with that, right?
We already
and once
know the
we're done,
explanation.
we have to
Let's
remove
move
this.
on
You
here.
can see what, since they do match each other, is able to close. That's basically a hint for us that it's going to be helpful for us to use a stack data structure to solve this problem. Because as we're closing a parenthesis, right, let's say we add this closing parenthesis, we're always going to be popping from the top. A closing parenthesis is always going to be matched to the most recent opening parenthesis. And let's say we have these 3 opening parentheses in a row. Let's say next we get this closing parenthesis. How do we know these 2 match each other? How do we know this closing parenthesis is able to close this one, right? How can we basically check, how do we basically match every closing parenthesis to the correct opening parenthesis, like this basically? And this closing bracket needs to match to the open bracket, and the closing curly brace needs to match to the open curly brace, right? So I hope you guys can see what I'm doing up here. This is basically going to be our hash map, actually. This is going to help us determine if a closing parenthesis matches an open parenthesis, right? Basically just the correct type, right? So let's say we had this closing parenthesis, right? We'd go up into our hash map and check, okay, this closing parenthesis matches this open parenthesis. Okay, well, what was at the top of our stack? This is at the top of our stack, right? This other closing parenthesis. So since they do match each other, we can cross them out. We can pop from the stack, right? Now let's say we get this closing parenthesis, right? Well, which one does this match to? We go up to our hash map and check, okay, it matches this one. one, right? This closing curly brace. Okay, let's take a look at the top of our stack. Hey, that's exactly what we needed, right? This closing is what's up here. So they do be big O of n in this case. Let's go to the code now. So remember, we are using a data structure, a stack, or in this case, it's just a Python list. Also, we're going to be mapping the close to open parentheses. We're going to be using a hash map to do that. So you can probably tell what I'm doing. I'm just going to take every single closing parenthesis, so like this one, and I'm going to map it to the opening version of that parenthesis. And I'm going to do that for all three types. So we had the closing bracket. Let's map that to the open bracket, and closing curly brace to the opening curly brace. So these are our three pairs, 1, 2, and 3. Now let's start actually building up our stack and popping from it and just going through every character in this input string. First, let's check if this character is a closing parenthesis. So if this character is in close to open map, that means it's a closing parenthesis. And the reason why is because the keys, every key of this map is always a closing parenthesis. So if this is a closing parenthesis, we want to make sure that our stack is not empty, right? We cannot add a closing parenthesis to an empty stack, and we want to make sure that the value at the top of our stack is the matching opening parenthesis. So let's make sure so in Python, stack of -1 is the last value that we just added in the stack. Let's make sure that that is the matching open parenthesis that we need. We can get that by taking our map and getting the character and getting the closing character from it. So we can basically, that's what we're doing. We're passing in the closing curly brace, getting the opening curly brace or whatever where we need. If these match each other, that's good. That means we can pop from our stack and then continue going. If they don't match each other, or if the stack happens to be empty, that means we have to return false, because that means our parentheses don't match, right? Obviously, we know this is not a matching parenthesis. Having just a closing parenthesis to start us off is not matching. Also, this is not matching, right? Having a closing parenthesis with an open bracket, this is not matching. So that's why we would return false. Though if we don't get a closing parenthesis, that's what this condition is for. So if we ended up getting an open parenthesis, we know the rule for having an open parenthesis is we can add as many as we want. So if we get an open parenthesis, we're just going to take that character and then append it to our stack and just keep going. So remember, at the end, once we've gone through every character, we can only return true if our stack is empty. So if not stack, then we can return true. Otherwise, we return false. So this is the solution code for this problem. I hope you understand why we're using a stack data structure, and I hope that this map makes sense. This map is just a little shortcut for us, and I hope that this was helpful.
So it takes for every character in the string, if the character is in his hash map for the keys matching the closed operators or closing characters, and then it does another check if there is a current stack, right, to match the close with an open, and the stack at the negative first. So he peaks to the negative first value, or the last one, and then
please
pop it. If the stack has values and the stack at -1 is equal to the closed open, is equal to the value associated with the key of character C for the closed open dictionary, you'll pop the stack off, that character off the stack. Return true if not stack, meaning that return true if the stack is empty, else return false if there is an element of remaining on the stack, or return false right away if you don't have a matching open. Interesting. So he just used the hash map. I used strings to loop over, and he paired them that way. I paired them using indexes. This solution, I'm not gonna lie, we read a similar in our data structures and algorithms book. There was a similar example given that provided so that's why I kind of leaned towards this, because I'd seen something a few weeks back similar to this. I remembered this from right here, and so I know you had to do this check condition here, but I was tripped up on was this part here. But once we figured this out, it was pretty smooth sailing from there. But obviously that return statement screwed us. We could not figure that out. Don't have to compare bool value to true and false. Yeah. So if flag, that'll be the same thing, right? Oh, sorry, if not flag. Yeah. Interesting. The mapping program is a bit advanced if you are learning. Yeah, these are my first, attempts at any of these Leet code problems. I've only solved about three or four of them so far. We're still reading, I don't even know all of them are DSA yet, so we're still reading through DSA in Python right now. We're only on page 325, learning about trees right now. So, I mean, we still don't even know all of our available tools, but we're just getting some practice, getting some familiarity with these problems and looking at them. Thanks so much for joining here. All right, you guys. Cool. So that was valid parenthesis. I guess tomorrow we'll try to take a stab at binary search. I've written a binary search function before, so we might be able to complete this one, hopefully. And then we can try to dive into some of these other easy ones. But there was an easy one on here that I randomly clicked on, and I had no idea how to solve, um, because I had never seen a type of data structure with this example. Let me show you guys. It was the sliding window, easy, best time to buy and sell a stock. I read this one last night after the stream as just like another, like, oh, I'm just gonna read something to kind of have it think in the back of my mind to maybe try to attempt this one today. I I thought about this day, all day, and I could not figure it out. But then I realized he's trying to do this sliding window technique, and I haven't learned that yet. So I was trying to do a two-pointer, and I could not figure out the combination of what to do. But yeah, so yeah, we'll have to come back and look up this sliding window. Yeah, moving two pointers. Yeah, I thought it would be like a two-pointer. I tried that, but I just could not figure out the order at which to like do them. Like I like for example, I my idea was that now I'll just be quick. I'm not going to attempt this tonight, but my idea was that you iterate through starting from the front and then starting from the back as well with two pointers, right? And so I was trying to find the smallest value until you meet up with the right pointer, right? But the thing is this wants this in O of n time. So I couldn't do an evaluation across every single pointer one and then move pointer two, uh, whatever, n minus one times. Like, yeah, see, that's what I don't know. I've never learned the window. I just know how to move pointers at two different places, like in the two sum problem. In the or in the valid palindrome too. Like this was what I was kind of trying to compare it to, because I was thinking before I realized it was a window, whatever that may mean. I was trying to do something similar to this, and I just was not figuring out. I could not. I was struggling. It was really frustrating me last night. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your question, Lath. My bad. Late says, "What level are you now?" I'm just a beginner. I've only been coding for about 6, 7 months. I've been teaching myself After my 9 to 5 job. Yeah, for those that are new, my name is Michael. Thanks so much for joining me this evening. I stream every day around 7 p.m. PST to around 9:30 to 10:30 PST. So 2.5 to 3.5 hours every day. I do this after my 9 to 5 job every day. I have a 40 hours a week 9 to 5 job that I work. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. I graduated back in 2021. I got a job right out of college as a formulation chemist for a biotech company. I make biological controls. I have a lot of experience, with physical chemistry, analytical testing, um, biology, human biology, mammalian biology, things like that. But I've just been teaching myself to program in my after my work, for fun. I'm not doing this to, to find a job. I already have a job. I'm not doing this to. I'm just literally doing this to, learn new skills and challenge myself, and because I just find computer science really, really interesting. Me being a physical scientist, I think it's just incredibly fascinating that we can take these physical elements and transition them into literally words on a screen and code and program algorithms. It just is so bizarre, and I find it so, so fascinating. And so that's what's really driving this passion independently here. So yeah, I've only been coding for 6 7 months. I have a couple of projects that I wrote independently, from my CS50P final project to my task tracker, and even to the small business manager that we've been working on live as a stream here. So I do live learning on the stream, reading data structures and algorithms in Python, doing CS50X, live courses on the channel, live books, live videos, and then I also do solidify that learning with actual projects that we've been writing. So as you can see here, I almost have like 1,000 line. Actually, with all of my files together, I have over 1,000 lines written in this one project, out of functions, and I need to refactor clean this up because it's getting really, really hectic. But yeah, we've in 6 months, I think, come quite a long way, and in 6 more months, who knows where we'll be. But is this something you're like interested in, following along? I have this stream to just kind of document my progress, from a raw zero perspective, beginner. Never had seen a line of code before this. Didn't I'd never even heard of Hello World before I started this, and yeah, so it just goes to show that with time and effort, you can kind of learn this stuff independently, and I really am trying to focus on learning it well and gaining a mastery in it. How many hours you've invested learning so far? I invest about 2 to 3 hours every single day for the past, 2.5 months, and then before that, it was probably about, a couple hours a few nights a week, and then before that, it was just 1 or 2 days a week. So I've been increasing it up, and the past 2 months, we've been going every day. With daily streams, and the channel's been really growing, and we've been really improving, and it's been really awesome. And something I think he's good. I think he's doing a good job coming from a different background. Oh, thank you so much. Insomniac's been stalking me. Yeah, I'm with a pretty reputable, Fortune 500 biotech company, and I'm a mid-level scientist too, pushing for even a senior scientist position here soon. Probably this year is my goal. Um, Yeah, Leet, awesome. I also have a Discord link below, so I have compiled all of my study resources, and also we can chat offline, share, collaborate. I know in network, but I have a Discord link below, mainly for my collection of all my study resources into one location. Can you stop looking at the camera? Sorry, man, I'm reading the chat. It's just part of the game. Try- uh, you're funny. Thank you. Valor co-leader. What kind of what kind of how can I pronounce your name? By Quay. Sorry. I have a similar background. I'm a mechanical engineer and self-taught to code. I know the struggles. Oh, awesome, Sonic. Well, I'm really appreciate that you're here then. You can provide a lot of insights here for me. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Yeah, so that pointer, that one, I read this one last night, and I just was like, I need to research what a sliding window is and how to do it, because I I struggle. I sat here, I got out the old pen and paper and was writing literally for loops on my pen and paper and writing out the loop and seeing. Oh, I did it for about an hour after my stream even, and so I was really burnt last night. I went to bed a little upset because I couldn't figure it out. But we'll try again another day here. When I just need to research what the windows are, what window algorithms are, sliding windows. Whoa, whoa, whoa! It's really zoomed in here. Come on, what are you doing? There we go. K. Okay, cool. I'll call you K. I have 3 years of experience and still struggle with Leet code, so I guess he's doing right. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate you. You're awesome. Thanks for coming in tonight, leaving a message. For simple terms, imagine two pointers that may start at index 0. You expand the second pointer right for short and expands the window, and you move that. But my question then with that kind of problem, right, is how do you know, like, at what point to buy? Like, what is your indication to make a quote unquote buy on that day? Like, obviously you would you just automatically buy at index 0, attempt to sell at index 1, attempt to sell at index 2, and then if that fails, okay, I went ahead two options. Let's go ahead and shift the window forward and try again from there, and then from there, and then from there, and then from there. But at what how many numbers do you know to encompass inside of the window each time, right? That's what I'm trying to figure out is I because technically you're just like what slicing almost, and so and he said that this has to be done in O of n times. So you have to do this over one single iteration. So that's another thing I was struggling with. Um, I've been coding here and there for a hobby. Awesome. Hey, Bristol Hall, welcome. JavaScript I know best. I did the palindrome last night in JavaScript with 2 lines. Oh, that's so cool. Awesome, Bristol. Thanks for sharing that. Insomniac, try to recreate the research based on your domain expertise and actually make your tour process faster. Try to recreate the research based on your domain experience. What? What'd you talk about, Insomniac? Try to recreate the research based on your domain experience and it'll actually make your tour process faster. As you're traversing along the right, you do comparisons to determine the current stock price and see if it's lower in value than that of the left pointer. I guess the methodology in this particular problem wouldn't consider a situation in which research paper on RXIV. I'm sorry, I'm not following you, my guy. On your domain expertise? Are you referring to my like LinkedIn? I methodology in this particular you wouldn't. Thanks so much for coming in, Kay. I'm about to wrap things up too. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, Insomniac, I'm not sure what you're talking about, my guy. Hey Majid, what's going on? Welcome in. You've probably been here, but hello. um, Insomniac. I have no. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about, my guy. Hey, Brian, thanks for coming in. Yeah, almost midnight. Yeah, I'm gonna get going to bed here too. I appreciate you for stopping, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming in, Brian. All right, you guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. So we started off the stream with some warm up into our small business manager. We completed some more functions on managing our expenses. So if I go into the expense menu and we go to the find edit, we can actually now successfully search for an amount, a date, and a number, and retrieve all of the expenses with those various parameters. So if you have an expense with the same number or date, you retrieve all of them and then are specified to select a certain one. The number just generates the singular expense. So we have that established. We'll have to fix that bug, it looks like. But yeah, so we worked on this for the beginning of the stream, and then we took a stab at some Leet code problems. We completed the valid parentheses problem today, which was pretty cool. It definitely taught me a lot about, especially I still am getting used to this whole I and range length of something to gather indexes. But I did struggle with trying to figure out where to place the return statement for evaluating this. I wasn't quite understanding what each was going on in this loop, and we were able to figure it out here. Oh, you're talking about research papers. Um, You should have heard about Edward Deming, the famous quality scientist. I've never heard about Edward Deming. My education has failed me. I wonder if we're related at all. Maybe he has insomnia. Yeah, did anybody know what insomnia was talking about there? um, Thanks so much for coming in, John, Sad the Bad, Lath, Brayan, Majid, K, Insomniac. You guys are awesome. Yeah, so I stream every day, 7 p.m. Starting at 7 p.m. Ish around there to around now or around a little bit later, 10:30 ish. Sometimes I've been learning Python for about 6, 7 months now, and I've been and really enjoying the process. And if you guys are enjoying this too, make sure to follow along. We're going to be taking a stab at I think we'll need to continue on with Harvard CS50X tomorrow. So we'll start off the stream tomorrow. Um, we'll start off the stream tomorrow with some, working on C in CS50X for the week 2 problem set. And then we will, if we have some time, we'll take some stab at some Leet code problems and maybe do some more work on the small business manager. But we also need to continue reading this book. I know that this isn't the most, fun thing to do is live reading, but it is critical that we, get the information and process it before we can apply it. So it is part of the learning. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys joining me today. Thanks you so much. Hey, Scary Sticks, welcome. What's going on? Welcome in. I'm just about to end it. Um, yeah, join the Discord, talk with me offline, share your resources. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining me today.